Welcome to a brand new episode of Undisputed Anime, a anime podcast where we love to talk about anime and reviews and all sorts. I'm a little bit tired today. This intro is going to be shoddy.
You've said anime an uncomfortable amount in this last paragraph.
Welcome to the podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Zane Reed, aka Zane Taichou, and as always, I'm joined by my best of friend, the young, handsome Digidestin, Susu Day. How are you?
Really too kind. Really too kind. How am I? I also stayed up. I was also up pretty late, but I get the feeling that my late and your late might be different. Maybe I could be completely off base there. And I also, 5 minutes before this show, having just freshly gotten showered and gotten up, decided, hey, let's have a cheeky bit of yogurt.
Yeah.
And I got it, and I got a drip of it right on my black t-shirt. I was like, couldn't happen to me. Then it did.
Which is funny because last week I spilled coffee onto my white t-shirt. Do you remember? And then I had to quickly change. It's a precursor of a good episode, obviously.
What are they going to do with us? Put us away.
Good news. I messaged you about this leading up to this episode. But dear listeners, if you've been listening for a while, you know that I've been on a Black Clover journey. And I am happy to report that I have finished all 171 episodes of
Last movie
and the Netflix movie. Thank you. I can hear your applause. You're driving to work and you're like, wow, what an incredible guy. What an achievement. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the blessings. Thank you for your grace. It was challenging. This isn't like a top 5 anime series for me. I'm going to say that off the rip. But what I will say is I surprisingly really enjoyed the movie more than I was expecting.
Yeah, I think the way that you described it was that it felt like one of the older Naruto movies.
Yeah.
So, where it's like kind of self-contained.
It's kind of
what I mean.
Yeah, it's kind of self-contained, but also it pulls from different parts of the continuity, because in my mind I'm kind of like, where is this taking place exactly? Because Asta has the demon arm, but the demon arm kind of happens after, I won't say certain things because spoilers, but after certain characters are gone. So kind of like, even though that character is in the movie, so I'm kind of like But then
definitely feels like a Naruto movie then.
Yeah, it's this classic Naruto movie where he's like on an island somewhere and somehow he gets, I don't know, Nine Tails form when he's still a child.
Yeah, I completely get it. Like, I think that of the movies of that time, I think that there's only there's very few of them that actually go on for the creator to be like, yeah, those are canon. Because like how this is like a little bit of a tangent, but it's like how of all of the Bleach movies, like Kubo, I don't think Kubo's come out and said it, but like based on the lore that's being talked about in the 1,000-Year Blood War, it legitimizes the first movie.
First movie, remind me.
Yes, that was Memories of Nobody. That said, I've not done enough reading into the matter to give you an educational course on why that is. I just have heard it several times, so I'm like, maybe that is something I need to. I've been dying to rewatch all the Bleach movies. Hard to do, hard to find them legitimately, you know.
Yeah, and I'm. It's kind of one of those weird ones as well, because I remember one of the last ones was the Hell movie, where Ichigo got like that like skeleton like form. Do you know what I mean? And the closer that we get to this like rumored, theorized like Hell arc, it feels like maybe that movie might have a little bit more credit to it than just being like fan movie.
So I did hear, this is one thing I've heard a lot of, and I know this came from Kubo. Kubo hates the Hell movie. Kubo not happy about the Hell movie. Apparently, Kubo went and saw the Hell movie when it came out. Not happy with what they did. And I'm wondering if it's one of those things where it's like he's not happy with it because they went in like kind of a direction that he wasn't expecting, or he's unhappy with it because obviously it's possible that he had already contemplated a Hell arc at that point, even all the way back then, and he's like, this is going to completely ruin everything. You know,
can you imagine him just sat there like, these motherfuckers, like, stealing my ideas?
He's out here like, am I a joke to you? Am I a joke?
Oh, Kubo.
Black Clover, yeah.
Black Clover, yeah. I have to admit as well, like the opening part of the movie, I kind of popped a little bit. Like, A, they're having a tournament. B, Asta's pulling up in like as a mystery combatant in a full black cloak, and like just during the opening credits you see him purchase a mask from a store, and you're like, oh, the hype is slightly building. And the first like opponent is and it's kind of like, oh, it's building. And then he comes out and everyone instantly knows it's Asta because they're like,
he's got no magic.
And he pulls out his like Demon Slayer sword. So everyone's just like,
oh, who's that? Oh my goodness.
So but no, I really liked it. I liked the whole ex-Wizard Kings coming back to life and fighting them. I thought, this is almost like, old Hokages coming back to life and causing.
You love a tournament arc as well. You love tournament.
Yeah.
I think it's to be fair, I think that the same could be said for a lot of people. It's such a I wouldn't say it's an overused concept, but it is a tried and true like concept, like story plot, and it's so easy to follow a tournament arc. It's like you're never having to think about like how the people got here. It's like, oh, you're here because you beat the person before you. That's it. It's as simple as it needs to be. And then maybe as you get towards the end, you'll find out that there's like a bigger plot going on, like in the background. You're like, oh, the tournament's ruined because evil is here now.
Or the tournament was a front to begin with, so the evil mishaps could have moved. With everyone distracted with the tournament. See, it just writes itself a lot of the time. Yeah. I do love it. And funny enough, I was talking to Matt on the Manga Tap podcast because we were talking about a manga series, and we were talking about Wistoria, Wand and Sword. And he was like, as soon as it enters into a tournament arc, he's like, this is why Zane loves it. Because it takes no time to get to a tournament arc, and he's like,
yeah.
yeah. This is why we're here. But the reason you're here is because today's episode, I thought it'd be really cool to kind of talk about video games that don't have an anime, or I'd like to see have an anime series. We are currently in this phase where a lot more are happening. I'm thinking Devil May Cry Season 2 is coming up. Sekiro has an anime. Death Stranding has an anime in the works. And this isn't a new concept. It's something that's happened in the past as well, right? Because I was thinking, what other video games have had anime series that don't get talked about? Like Sengoku Basara. We have the Dot Hack anime series. Street Fighter used to have like these OVA special movies, right? Persona has had a long history. That's become free on YouTube now.
Yes, for a very limited time. It's like there, like for like 2 or 3 weeks is there, but you can watch the Persona 3 like theatric movie releases, which is a 4-parter. Very, very good. Like, I've always like I'm a massive Persona fan, and I've always come away feeling a little bit jaded by watching the anime series, because I feel like the anime series aren't very good at capturing what the Persona games that they are meant to represent are. But then they did the Persona 3 movies, because Persona 3 didn't get an anime per se, like a series. They got like the 4 movies, and it was done so well in the movies, like so well. So I'm a bit annoyed that it's like so hard to like actually legitimately watch it online.
Yeah. I've never actually watched Persona 4's anime series, and the same with Persona 5.
Persona 4's is very... So the reason why I think that they never hit as hard as the games do is because obviously the games are typically set over the space of a year. They're clearly anime which have been told you have 24 episodes to wrap this up. And it's like, how do you capture a game that is done day by day in a 24 episode anime? So they like kind of skip over things. Like everything kind of feels a little bit disjointed, I guess. It's really hard to like especially like with Persona like 4 and 5, they had really complex plots when you looked really deep into it. And I guess like obviously you've got the murder mystery, and you've got like the like palaces, and like what's causing that is like it's very hard to like give it all the time that it needs to really cook. Whereas the Persona 3 movies were like, these are movies, we're going to split it into 4 parts, and they captured all of the most important bits, but in a really satisfying way. I also think that like Persona 3 story is a bit more self-contained.
Yeah.
So
I guess there's less multiple choices in Persona 3.
I don't think it's even that. I think it's just that Persona 3's the main gimmick of Persona 3 is the Dark Hour, and the Dark Hour takes place in a singular place. And while you obviously go up in the floors and things change in Tartarus, there isn't really much kind of, not a huge amount changes other than the environment. Whereas in like Persona 3 and Persona 4 and Persona 5, you're obviously going into like the palaces and into the TV world, but each place you go to is a very, very different place with its own like unique backstory, I guess. Whereas Persona 3 is like you and the gang are trying to get to the top of the tower. That's the whole thing. You're trying to solve the mystery of the Dark Hour. So I think it's much easier to turn that kind of story into an anime. Yeah.
No, I agree. So today we're going to talk about what video games we'd love to see be turned into an anime series. Susuze, I drummed up a list of about 5 video games. What about yourself? Did you come up with a list?
I did 3, but
okay.
I can easily throw out more if we've got the time for it. I did wonder though, is like, are there any rules here? Like, are we talking? Do our options have to be video games that do not already have an anime series?
I hear you.
It's like stuff like that. It's like, are we like? Where are the limitations here?
I guess the only rules I went in when I drummed up this list was technically they're series that don't have anime already, but I'm open for that discussion. Like if I was like an exec and you're pitching this to me, I'm willing to hear your case. And maybe dropping a studio's name, like, for example, Mappa, Ufotable, Science, Saru. Those are kind of like the only 2 things I had in mind.
Okay. Very cool. Okay. I'm down with that. You wanna kick things off?
I can kick things off. By the way, if you're listening or watching, feel free to play along. Drop them into the comments, and we'll read them out on next week's episode. Next week, in our next episode, is probably the best thing to say. Yeah. Where is my notes? There we go. Okay, so real easy, real simple. I'm going to start things off with a classic PS2 title called Jak and Daxter.
Jak and Daxter.
Here's my thought. Jak and Daxter has 3, maybe 4 video games from memory. And they're quite almost different genres, each video game. And there's the PSP game that follows Daxter in the sort of time skip, which could be its own little mini spin-off if we needed an OVA, for example. But my thought behind this, I think it could be really good because it could, even if you did like 3 or maybe even 4 seasons, it could just follow a nice yearly release schedule. 25 episodes on the first game, learning about the precursor orbs, etc. Then the second season follows the second game. And then the third, of course, Jak 3. I want to say Jak X is the third game, which is the racing game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think it would just fit that model real nicely. And in terms of studios, it could work with like a Wit studio, would just do a nice job.
I think so. I think Wit could do a really good job, or a Science Saru.
Yeah, Science Saru, I think, could really knock it out of the park.
I think they'd be very good at capturing the. They'd be very good at capturing the kind of like silliness of it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, especially with a character like Daxter.
Yeah, so I can see it. I'd watch. I don't know. I love the Jak and Daxter games, but I don't know how intently I'd follow an anime.
Okay, yeah.
That's not saying that I wouldn't be good. I'm just like, would it be my kind of anime, you know?
Yeah, I guess the thing as well, with Jak and Daxter, the best stuff happens at the end. That might sound like a silly thing to say, but it's usually once you get... Because the first game is like a platformer collector game, right? And it's kind of like, I wouldn't say anything dramatic happens until the very end. But then I'm trying to think back, probably 20 years ago when I played it as a child. So it is probably tough to kind of recall. Yeah. But
but I do. So of the Jak and Daxter games, I wasn't like the biggest fan of the original Jak and Daxter, but it was the second and third games, huge fan of, really enjoyed it. Unsure if that's because they're like, oh, this is a much grittier world and there's guns and stuff. That might just reflect on the me of that time and the sort of platformer games I liked.
Yeah.
But there was something very cool about like Dark Jak and like Light Jak and stuff,
Yeah, yeah. And again, like the season 2 could kind of lean into that whole cyberpunk edge to it, and like you said,
you could end season 1 with the cliffhanger, which is the start of Jak 2, where they get kind of like yanked through time. And it could end, because obviously at the very beginning of Jak 2, he's like he's imprisoned. He's been imprisoned, hasn't he? You could end the season 1 like panning into like kind of a darkened cell where he is like shown as a prisoner, and then just like cut to black, and it's like, gotta wait till season 2 now. Like, what's going on? Because that would pull me in.
And then also season 2 just adds the stakes, right? Because you're doing all these missions. There's so much more action, and like you say, guns and vehicles and flying things and turning into Dark Jak and stuff. So yeah, it feels like it has like a nice progression there. And then with the third one being like this racing tournament, but also Jak trying to find out what happened to his home from the first game. I think it just kind of does like a nice full circle.
Absolutely. Honestly, I hadn't expected to hear about Jak and Daxter anime today, but I'm honestly like giving it more thought. I'm here for it.
Nice.
Really here for it. Nice.
What about yourself? What would you pitch as
I'm gonna tear off the plaster right away. Here. And I'm going to say that there's some. I asked you to listen to me before interjecting, because I feel like this is a very obvious like Sue answer, but there's more to it than just the initial title. I would love to see an actual Kingdom Hearts anime, but, and I've said this in like group chats before. The story that I want to see told in a Kingdom Hearts anime is not the story of the main games. I would love for them to take the story of the mobile game Unchained X and turn it into an anime, because I feel that game is filled with so much great like Kingdom Hearts lore, and it's all like set like in the distant past of the worlds that the games are set in. Like so it's really, I feel it's really inaccessible for the mass majority of people who do not have the time to play a mobile game, because it was obviously a game which required energy and stuff. So there's only so much you could do in a day. But the lore payout is huge, especially when you start looking. It starts going into like the story of young Xehanort in those days, and like what happened to his friends, how he became the way that he is, as we see him in Kingdom Hearts, in the mainstream Kingdom Hearts series. As for a studio, I think Wit would do a pretty good job.
Yeah.
So Wit's got like a lot of variety in the kinds of stuff that they put out. But like when you think about things like things they've produced like Bubble and stuff, you think about like that kind of like smoothness of like animation, thinking about like the sorts of fights that you could see, the Heartless stuff. I think it would be incredible.
I like it. Correct me, my two questions on it was, the first one was, does it end with the Keyblade War? So because I did play the game, but I never got to finish it before the game ended. The game got taken offline. It was kind of like it was like the lead up to the Keyblade War. Right. It's like you basically your character is a part of, like, you play as a character and you get to choose your faction. And all the factions are kind of like at odds with one another to well, I'm not going to go into it because this is definitely going to get made into an anime. But very much just that this is the lead up to the Keyblade War, and we kind of like see how and why it happened. Obviously, with Kingdom Hearts 2.8, you got the bonus story about Aqua in the World of Darkness, but you also got like a short film which was about the precursors. That was going to be my second question, is like, I'm sure there's like some sort of cinematic on one of the remixes, but I couldn't think of what it was.
Yeah, it's about the like the main Keyblade wielders in the factions,
right,
and stuff, and like how I think it's like how the Keyblade like war kicked off, and like the machinations like of the people behind the scenes doing stuff. So,
I like it. Yeah, I guess that kind of leans into as well that all the extra projects that were maybe going to happen, I'm thinking Missing Link could just be turned into a series then, or like a sequel series of some sort, or
yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think some of what I've tried to think of with games that I'd love to see made into anime is like, I not so much like I want to see a translation of this game into an anime. I want to see the story exactly as it is. It's like I'm looking at also like kind of like the franchise itself as well, I guess, in a lot of ways, because a lot of the worlds are very compelling, and I think a lot of the like a story told in the world would actually be more interesting than the actual game itself just being told again in anime format, you know?
Yeah. And I guess Disney's involvement is less needed because does it all take place on Disney Worlds, or is it just in...
You're still going in and out of Disney Worlds, but like the actual presence of those characters is a little bit less. They're kind of like, they're not, it's not like when you're playing Kingdom Hearts like 1 or 2 or 3 where it's like they're like the main, the world is the main focus. Like there's a lot of like, you're just traveling to these worlds to find out like a mystery, and you can kind of travel freely between them. And you might see like, you'll see a Disney character and like they'll be doing something adjacent. So,
I mean, I guess that's not the worst thing, because I mean, it could just wind up on Disney Plus, right? Like all the other sort of Disney adjacent animes. I'm thinking Twisted Wonderland and things.
I think it'd be good.
I was also thinking as well, when you first mentioned Kingdom Hearts, I was like, okay, would it just adapt the manga version instead of the video game version?
Yeah, true. Like, fair. Like, if it was to do the main story, I'd definitely say it'd be easier for them to follow the manga telling of the story than to follow the actual video game telling of the story. It's already, like, written for them, you know? It's a much more linear story.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything's there already, like you say, the art style and stuff. I tell you who I'd love to see do it is Ufotable. Like once they're done with Demon Slayer, Kingdom Hearts.
I mean, would that mean that we're waiting for each season as long as we're waiting for Kingdom Hearts 4?
Is that a terrible thing? Like if it ties in with a launch window, you know, you get all the Kingdom Hearts at once.
Can't do it again, man. Can't do it again. Every single game show, every single drop of news, I'm like, what have you got for us? What have you got for us?
I saw a meme this morning where it was the Squidward meme where he's looking through his blinds and he sees like SpongeBob and Patrick like running and playing around, and the meme was SpongeBob was every drop of Final Fantasy VII Part 3 news, and Squidward was Kingdom Hearts 4, just like...
Well, it's like that whole thing, isn't it? It's that whole thing, like, but the way things are going, we're going to have gotten the entire trilogy of Final Fantasy VII remakes between the release of Kingdom Hearts 3 and any news about Kingdom Hearts 4.
Yeah. Yeah, it is getting that stage, isn't it?
What a time to be alive.
I tell you what, it is a time to be alive. Being a fan of Undisputed Anime Podcast, if you are enjoying the show, feel free to like, subscribe. We set up a Patreon recently as well, so be sure you can sign up for free, take part in some of our community polls. But if you aren't listening to the ad-free version of this, here's a word from our sponsors. Undisputed Anime has a dream of becoming the #1 podcast in the world when it comes to anime, but we need your help. That's why this episode is brought to you by you. We need you to like, subscribe, leave a comment, things that you love about the podcast, which you hate about the podcast, things you'd love us to review, watch, review, talk about, all those wonderful things. We want your support. To do that, we want you to be part of the podcast. So be sure to leave a comment, read them out on the show, subscribe to the channel on YouTube. All the relevant links will be in the description. And if you listen to this on your favorite podcast platform, again, feel free to leave a star rating and a comment on what you'd like to see from the podcast. It truly means the world to us that you have supported us this far. We're looking to pierce the heavens and make sure our drill is the one to do it. So be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment down and below. Even an emoji, we'll read those too. Welcome back. We are running through some ideas of video games we'd love to see as anime. We've pitched one each. Sushi Day, I am going to pull from my list that I created on my phone right now. And the second one I had written down I kid you not. It says Kingdom Hearts, but Susu Day will pick this. So,
known too well.
So, my counter offer is Dissidia. Final Fantasy Dissidia.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Now, listener, person watching on YouTube, if you're unfamiliar with Dissidia, it was a fighting game from Square Enix, and all the participants were either heroes or villains from previous Final Fantasy games. There's 2 games from memory. Yeah, 2 games, and they released it on PS4, which didn't do too well, which was a crying shame. It was amazing on PSP. My pitch as an anime series is that maybe as a movie, less as a series, but I'm just thinking, in the past, Square Enix has tested the waters a little bit. I'm thinking Final Fantasy VII Last Order, which is a movie of a much shorter version of Crisis Core, shall we say. But yeah, I'm just thinking tournament, all the heroes and villains from Final Fantasy as a movie or as a series. I guess kind of like what they did with To Be Hero X.
It feels, sorry to jump in here, but
it
feels like this would be the perfect story where it's like the actual plot doesn't follow the actual Final Fantasy characters. It seems like one of those stories where it's like the actual main character is someone who got isekai'd into the conflict.
Yeah.
And they kind of serve as like a self-insert character into the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like, oh, like you're a massive, like it could even be as meta as like you are like the main character is a massive fan of Final Fantasy games, and they end up getting yanked up in some sort of like grand magic into this encounter, and it's like, oh, you're suddenly there's fireballs, there's fighting going on everywhere. Oh my god, goodness, it's the warrior of light defending me and stuff like that. It's like, oh my god, it's Jet from Final Fantasy X. He's trying to kill us.
It's not exactly an unheard concept. Like, I'm pretty sure there's like a Marvel kids game, kids anime series, but they capture the Marvel heroes as, it's not cards, it's a type of collectible. It's on Disney Plus. But yeah, it is that where they're constantly like, oh no, we're going to get hit by Abomination. And then the Hulk jumps in and Thor, and they're like, Hulk and Thor. And then they end up at the end of the episode where they become like their pocket pals, shall we say.
Well, is it a super? No, that's is it Superhero Squad?
Don't think it's Superhero Squad.
I don't know. It could. I don't know. I think that sounds rad though. I think it sounds like it'd be really good as a movie. It would also be good as well, because I think like the Dissidia games don't really have a complex plot. It is just the fight between light and darkness. Like you've got your representatives of light who have been summoned by Heidelin, and then you've got your representatives of darkness that are representing Zodiac, and it's like, who will win? It's literally just like a very black and white, these are the good guys, these are the bad guys, and they're fighting to help their particular patron win.
Yeah, exactly. And with the first game, it was very much the classic sort of fighting campaign where you choose your favorite character and then you go on that character's story journey. Yeah. So if you do choose, say, Cloud, and it talks about how in that journey, Cloud clashes with, say, Squall from Final Fantasy VIII, and then somewhere down the line, he fights Sephiroth, and it's kind of like, oh no, Sephiroth's actually here. Again, if it was an anime series, I feel like you could just do the To Be Hero X thing of where it constantly weaves in and out of all these different characters.
Yeah. And then it brings them all together in the later part of the series. Yeah. Like we get like 2 episodes each for each of the like main characters and their antagonist.
Yeah, and it's kind of like if you've never played Final Fantasy VI, you'll slowly learn about, I can't even think of his name, but the villain who's Kafka. And again, you kind of get enough to maybe encourage you to go play the games, or even Dissidia itself. So again, I'm just kind of thinking, after seeing 2B Hero X, it could be just more than just a tournament arc. It could just be a great way to kind of tell all these mini stories, and all these, every character could be its own main character in a weird way. Tidus and Jet and Squall and Ultimea and things. So yeah.
Incredible. That's a great idea. Honestly, didn't even cross my mind, but that really, really perfectly kind of captures that niche of video games stuff. Because I'm like, there are so many Final Fantasies that I'd be like, oh, I'd love to see this as an anime. Because actually, give me a bit of everything. I can have my cake and eat it as well. And then then Square can be all like, oh, this character was particularly well received in this anime. Let's give them their own stuff.
Remake, spin-off, whatever it is. It's a good litmus test. In terms of studio, I was thinking Madhouse. They don't have to overcommit to multiple seasons. They could just do the one season, and then if it works, it works. If it didn't,
give it a go. Give it a go.
Yeah.
Nice.
What about you? What have you been thinking of?
Hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
I say hear me out like this is not an obvious one.
I'm going to kick up. I'm going to put my feet up, paint the picture.
I would love to see, how is the best to tell this? I would love to see a anime which is either following the story of or a spin-off of The Legend of Zelda.
Ooh, yeah.
And the way that I was actually thinking about this is this would actually work really, really well. This would be very, very cool. Is that Nintendo could go into this approaching it like it was a Star Wars Visions. Because then you could have different studios who are famed for like different kind of styles do the different games. Because obviously, like a lot of the Legend of Zelda games are very visually distinct from one another. Because like thinking about it at the top of my head, I'd love to see a Legend of Zelda anime made by Madhouse in like kind of like for their like free ren kind of like style like animation. But I would love it with the kind of storytelling of Ranking of Kings. I would like the Link to remain a completely silent, a wordless protagonist in the same way that like Bocchi is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I'm feeling it. Yeah. I thought of Zelda, but then a part of me was like, A, is that too much to commit to? And B, where do you start with it? But you pitching the whole anthology Visions style, there's no need to pick a point and then that's a very good idea actually, to just kind of let the tapestry itself paint. I really like that.
And in doing so, you wouldn't even like, it could be that like a studio would pick it up and be like to do one of the episodes. And it's like, you don't necessarily have to follow the story of like Link or Zelda or anyone like that. You could do a whole episode which is about a guy who's a potter who just makes pots. And is like every now and then, and he's like lives in constant fear of this hero coming back into town. Because last time he came into town, he smashed all his pots.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could do like a story about like Tingle, or you know, in like some of the Twilight Princess, you had like the mailman who comes like running about. You could have like a whole episode which is about like the postal guy in Wind Waker, you know, because it's the birds, isn't it? The bird folk.
Yeah.
Like,
I was just
there's so much you could do that isn't just necessarily like a mainline Zelda story. But it would also be cool to see Wind Waker Link stone cold murder Gandalf, as he is known to do.
Yeah, because kind of I'm on board already. Because a part of me is kind of like, what would a studio triggers? What would I want them to do? I was thinking Twilight Princess, but then there's even things like Skyward Sword. There's, of course, the Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom.
So hear me out here. If you're wanting a studio where, how about instead of it focusing on one of those games, you look at a game like
Smash Bros.
Not Smash Bros. What is the one which is like Dynasty Warriors?
Hyrule Warriors.
Hyrule Warriors. Imagine it's a studio wit doing like a Hyrule Warriors episode. And it is just like action.
Yeah. Just even the spin-offs. Yeah. Link's training.
Training. Yeah. You could do a whole episode which is just focused on Link before, like in Ocarina of Time, do Link before he met Navi. Like he's just living as a fairyless child in the Great Deku Tree's like protection.
I'm on board. Yeah, I really like that one.
I thought that one would be well received. I thought like pitching a Legend of Zelda, but as like an anthology thing is like, it's perfect because there's so many different tellings of the story and stuff, and everyone's could have their own take on it. It would just be. I think if there's a message that I want to get out today, just generally, is that I would love to see more big properties, like more IPs, just be like. Go out to put a project out there that's like, hey, come together and collaborate. Everyone show it's like, because I think that's always really cool. Like when you see it in like manga and stuff, where it's like you'll have like exhibitions where it's like focused on a particular IP, and it's like, oh, XYZ person, this is their interpretation of this character. I love it. I love it when you see different mangaka like do their own takes on other people's characters. And stuff, and I kind of like, and I'd love to see more of that in animation, where we just get someone come forward and say, "Hey, this is a really cool IP that everyone loves. Show us, take it, and do something cool with it."
And in the year where it is at the time of recording, this is the 40th anniversary of Legend of Zelda. This would be perfect time frame for it. Like,
and like Nintendo's poor neglected child.
But this would be the perfect time for it. And you have to think, over those 40 years, it's touched so many different types of people and gamers who are in that industry as well. You're bound to find like 1,000 fans in all those different studios. And like you said, we talked about some of the well-known ones, but again, A1 Pictures, IG Productions, like I can imagine the list would go on and on where someone will want to be involved in that sort of project. So no, I agree. I think it would be amazing.
Now, full disclaimer, I do imagine that once this episode is uploaded and is available to be viewed by the masses, I will have Nintendo's lawyers at my door telling me to stop infringing on their property, even though it's an idea they've not had yet. You know? So if I go missing, you can just assume that it was Nintendo.
They put you to work on the next Donkey Kong game.
So you're gonna get like a letter on like a scrap of napkin, and it's gonna be like 6 months. You have not heard from me in 6 months, and it's just gonna say send help, and it's gonna have my coordinates. You're gonna type the coordinates into Google Maps, and it's gonna show me in some sort of like Nintendo worker camp.
It's either that or the Nintendo Museum, and you're just like underground.
With all the other prisoners, and with that poor boy who couldn't afford a Nintendo Switch, so he made one out of cardboard. See, he's the guy in the cell over from me.
They tape a virtual boy over your eyes so you can't see where they're taking you.
Yeah. Oh, I'm scaring myself now. What's your next one?
My next one. You know what? I'm gonna say both of them because I was really stuck on either one. So the first one is, and it's probably easy to imagine already, but Hades. The roguelike Squid Games, I want to say, is makers. But yeah, Hades, you can see the vision already. Like, I think it would just work so well as an anime. But the other one I had...
Supergiant.
Oh, Supergiant. The other one I list next to it was Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed, a part of me, I struggled on where it would run or how it would run, but I think I just want the Desmond story, or at least up to Unity.
Okay.
I don't know. It's kind of, the Desmond story is quite jam-packed, and the sort of Assassin's Creed 3 to 4 is kind of its own little saga as well, isn't it? Like, you have Black Flag, Rogue, again, Assassin's Creed 3, you have Liberation, you have some of the DLC, which I want to say is Freedom something. So again, there's already quite a lot there in its own little saga. But yeah, I just think it'd be really cool as an anime.
I'm 100% on board.
Yeah.
As you know, I'm thinking a lot about Assassin's Creed at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, the Green Goblin mask is speaking to me a lot lately, trying to get me involved again. I'm down with it, especially like the first three. Give us the Ezio trilogy. That'd be a nice tidy. You could even jump through it in kind of like hour and a half to 2 hour free parter. You know, just do it as like 3 feature lengths. Because that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, as movies, I think it could work well because it kind of follows that hero structure, doesn't it? Especially like when you get to old Ezio, it's kind of like that would just be beautiful, almost like a Dark Knight Rises sort of vibe. Yeah.
I'm down for it. I don't really have much more to say about it because that's just great.
I would, in terms of studios, I think A1 would be fine. You could give it to a mapper. A mapper, I don't think I would expect anything less. I'd be like, oh yeah, it's going to be incredible. Even Powerhouse Studios, which isn't technically a Japanese studio, but seeing what they've done with Castlevania, it's kind of like, take it, do your wonders, because Castlevania is incredible.
I didn't have any further words. I leaned in like I was going to say something. Didn't actually have anything to say. I was just getting closer to my mic.
Audio listeners, he leaned in and then gave me a nod. So I think it was a thumbs up. I think
it is a thumbs up. I would honestly love that. Love it. Obviously, there is a Netflix series in the works. Will it follow One Piece's path, or will it follow Cowboy Bebop's path?
Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
I feel like I've maybe done 5 there. Any more from you? Or any honourable mentions? Anything you've like thought about? And
I have one more and an honourable mention.
Yeah.
I hark on about this game all the time. I really do love it. Give us an actual... technically, the listeners might say, okay, you're cheating here because all the cutscenes of this game were anime.
Okay.
Basically. Yeah, at least the second game. But give us a Zone of the Enders.
God.
Give us a Zone of the Enders anime. This one, though, I could not put a studio to it. Could not put a studio. I did initially think something like Powerhouse for like that kind of like the gritty realism of it, kind of like. But it's like they're not known for like their like mech anime. And then I was like thinking of something like Gainax, but Gainax obviously doesn't exist anymore. But obviously they were like responsible for things like some Evangelion stuff and Gurren Lagann, Furikuri, like so many great projects. But yeah, I really couldn't stick a studio to it because I feel like it would need a very particular direction, you know what I mean, to be good.
Absolutely. God's sake. Underneath Hades, I wrote Zone of the Enders.
Did you also write Sue might say this one?
No, I didn't. I did write your name against something else, but I'll probably get to that. The two studios I did note for this, though, were Sunrise Studio, who makes the Gundam anime series, and Studio Kaha, who make the Evangelion recent movies and projects. So
yeah, I could see Sunrise. I could see Sunrise being involved. They obviously did Code Geass, didn't they?
Yeah.
What else did they do? They also did Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, they did Gundam Gyuxu and the Witch from Mercury.
Yes, they did. Yeah, I'd be down. I'd be down with them. They did Kakaishi. I love Kakaishi. That's not a mech anime. That's a tangent. But yeah, they could do it. I'm happy for them to have it. You do it. Go and do it. Do it good. Make it so. Do you want to do your honorable mention, or should I do my honorable mention and then you can go on and do yours?
You do yours. I don't have that many.
My honorable mention probably comes from the current climate of things, where I'm at. I would love to see either a Ghost of Tsushima or a Ghost of Yote anime, but prerequisite, it needs to be directed by Shinichiro Watanabe.
Isn't there a Ghost of Tsushima anime confirmed?
Oh, if there is, I completely glossed over it. I'm gonna find out. If it's there, then I will just shut up. So there is an anime that is being produced loosely based on the Legends mode.
Okay.
What I want to see is the story of Jin and Atsu told in anime. I say this because I've obviously been playing a ton of Yote at the moment. But I just can't, there's so much about the story that I'm really enjoying, and I would just love to see it done in like kind of a samurai, like Champloo kind of like start to finish. Yeah, that would be so cool. That'd be great.
Is Wanabe got the source? This might be a hot take, but after Lazarus, I don't know.
I think maybe he does have the source. I think that Lazarus was maybe. I think that I'm saying I think a lot. I think that fans have changed a lot, and we have much more access to other similar media. Whereas when things like Samurai Champloo came out, like some of his earlier works came out, the ecosystem was quieter. So there was less to compare it with. It all felt very visually distinct. Whereas with Lazarus Project, it's like, okay, it can't just be carried on a tried and tested like kind of like animation style and formula anymore. There needs to be a bit more to it, you know? But I think that he could do a really good job if given like if given Ghost of Yote. It's either that or it's like, and I guess this is where it would fall into the kind of like anime being based on the Legends multiplayer, is you just do a story which is not following the main characters of the games. You'd like do like a separate thing, but that's obviously what they're doing. So my what I'd like is for the story, because then I'm technically not cheating.
Or getting distracted with side quests.
Yeah, this isn't like one of my main things. So this was just an honorable mention. So give me God of War as well. Give me a God of War. Maybe give me just a God of War movie.
OG or 20 Father Son?
Father Son.
Father Son.
I think they'll be better than an Amazon series.
Don't we all?
Go on, give me your honorable mentions.
Ooh, baby. Azura's Wrath. It's kind of an anime already.
I was gonna say Azura's Wrath is a basic is more anime than video game already. But I can see it. I can see it.
It is kind of there.
That game is mostly cutscenes with button inputs.
It's cutscenes and quick time events.
Yeah, I played through the entire game in a single sitting.
Loved it. I loved it. Prototype. I had your name against that one. Yeah.
Oh, Prototype could be really good if it had the right studio. Could be great. Really dark story, like kind of like Parasite or I don't know why this came to my Pupa. I don't know if you've watched Pupa before, Red Pupa, but
I've heard of it. Yeah.
It's like something just very dark. So
yeah, but I think it could do the aura farming as well, right? Like kind of edgy emo stuff there to lean into.
They could always go down the route that they went with the kind of like Terminator like movies, the anime that you really enjoyed. In like, it's not actually, again, it's a story that's not focused on like the actual stories of the game, but it's focused on the same themes. So it's like, it's not focused on Alex Mercer or the guy who was in part 2, who was less memorable to me, unfortunately. But it's like, it is focused on someone else who's been infected by the Blacklight virus, or it's just like an alternate timeline, and it's like kind of, it's set in Tokyo or something like that, you know? It's like,
I get it. Yeah, no, I can see the vision. The other one I had was the Remedy verse. So Alan Wake, Quantum Break, Control, Alan Wake 2, and then you've got like Control Resident. So yeah, I thought again, just kind of like a nice back-to-back sort of series.
yeah, that'd be really cool.
And they
again, it could be an interlocking thing where it's like not so much focused on any one story, but it's like focused on a character who's kind of got links to all the stories.
Yeah, and they really do this amazing. As someone who started like Quantum Break this week, which I think you'll really like. They do this really cool thing where the TVs play plot points from the Alan Wake game, the first game.
Really?
So yeah, so there's this kind of like this breadcrumb, and I've heard it's similar with Control as well. That's how you kind of learn that all these games are connected. But it's kind of like this kind of if you know sort of thing, and that's kind of like really cool for the fandom and the community and stuff.
Cool, love that.
The last two are kind of a bit of a clickbaity answer, but I put both Armor Core, because again, mechs, and I put Bloodborne.
Give me a Bloodborne, but it's kind of in the same kind of fashion as Berserk.
Oh, you want it dialed all the way up.
Dark as hell. Maybe with less horrors. I witnessed so many horrors while reading Berserk. And then he just stares off into the vanishing point. He's just like,
come back to us. Come back. You're back in the room.
yeah, that'd be cool as hell.
Bloodborne, I think, would be
Bloodborne would
incredible.
Would fuck. What an absolute treat that'd be. I just thought of another honourable mention, but let's finish your train of thought first.
No, there's not much more really to add. I would say, again, easy answer would be Mappa in terms of a studio. But yeah, Miyazaki, Bloodborne, the trench coats, the rain. I'd love to see it all.
So these are honourable mentions, but they don't technically count because I think that they're possibly in the works anyway. But I'd be hard pressed not to say anything by Hoyoverse.
Yes,
because almost half, if not more, of their trailers for characters at the moment are these extremely high quality like anime trailers, and I'm like, why are you making video games? Like when you're making animations like this, because these are incredible.
I totally agree. Yeah, which one would you want first?
It's not going to be Genshin because I don't play it. I'd probably want a Star Rail.
I want Star Rail. I would want Star Rail.
Be a Star Rail anime. I think it's got a more linear plot, which would serve better for like seasons, so to speak, because you could do a season per planet. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind Studio Colorado on something like that. Seeing what they've done with Pokemon over the years, I think they'd be really good on something like a Hoyoverse game.
I'm just double checking something just now because
I'm pretty sure it's Ufotable that's working on Genshin.
Yeah, they're doing Genshin. I'm just thinking, like, if I was going to choose a studio, Hoyo could just make it themselves. just do it yourselves.
Yeah.
That'll work out just fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know someone in the comments will point it out, but I know Armor Core had the secret level episode on Amazon Prime that had Keanu in the cockpit.
Yes.
I haven't seen it, but before you mention it. Saying that, I don't know anyone who's watched Secret Level because that's got God of War in it, but also it's got Concord.
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why no one's talking about it.
That one Concord episode. And
ruined
Sifu.
Everything.
I'm going to say that's our episode because I'm out of ideas, but we'd love to know your ideas. Feel free to drop them in the comments and let us know what video game series would you love to see as an anime, and any studios that you'd love it to work in collaboration with it. Susie Day, thank you so much for sharing your ideas and going on this journey with me.
It's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Any final words you want to end the episode with?
Days are getting longer, the nights are getting shorter, but that doesn't mean that you still can't carve out time to watch some. Don't just let your recommendation, don't let your wish list just be there and be your wish list. Make it your done list. Oh, don't let your dreams be dreams.
Spoken like a true savant.
Well, you know, I'm obviously great at following my own advice, so.
Listen to Unk. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Audio listeners, I just made him curl up a little bit there. like, subscribe, all that jazz. We are on Apple Podcast, of course, on Spotify as well. Drop a star rating, as it'll help us out in a big bad way. But for now, we will see you in a fortnight. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves.
Peace.